All right, team, welcome to week 11. It is the final week that you and I will be discussing stuff. Next week, you're going to look into doing things by yourself, taking the training wheels off and aiming to help somebody else. So let's get into it. Let's have some fun. And for the last time, let's begin. So from last week, you should now have a better understanding of your readiness. You should have measured yourself in the morning and measured yourself in the evening. You'll have a better understanding now of where you may dip and where you may thrive throughout the week. So with your readiness, you should know how your sleep works and things that can affect it. You should know how your water works and have been tracking it. You should know how your nutrition's going, which obviously, since you've been doing this program, you have a greater understanding than most of how it should be functioning. You should have been tracking your movements, how sore you've been feeling, if you've been feeling better or worse, if you've been getting more flexible. And you should have tracked your emotion, how things are affecting you, how you feel in your headspace. So you should have a very good understanding now and the 5 things that contribute to our readiness for health. You may understand a bit better the idea of being parasympathetic and being sympathetic, where sometimes we're in our fight and flight mode and sometimes we're in our rest and digest mode. You'll now see how much content we covered over the last couple of weeks. So you can imagine if I gave you all that content straight away, how challenging this program would have been. But since you've done them in little bits, now we can focus on fixing the stuff that you need to work on. So now we can focus on fixing any of the things that you're not quite getting 90% consistency on. That checklist, team, might be something that you have on your fridge for a long time. We are now forever trying to get to that consistency, that 90% on all of those different things that we've discussed over the past couple of weeks. So when we think about what's coming next, the longevity of ourselves, it's about getting 90% consistency on all of the things that you found helped you on the checklist that you learned over the past couple of weeks. So what does this week look like? Well, this week, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a test. Now, I don't want you to think that there's a pass or fail for this test. It's more interesting to see how much you've retained throughout this process. For some of you, you will want to have a mark. For some of you, you don't even want to do the test. If you're someone who really likes to see their hard work pay off and really likes to see how accurate they've been getting for this program, you're going to print off the questions for this test and you can send them to me and I will mark them. If you're someone who doesn't care for the result and has just enjoyed the experience, feel free to just chug along with us, see if you can answer any of the questions, and join us just in this journey of recapping everything you should have learned over the past couple of weeks. Now, team, I don't expect you to retain the same amount of information that I would as your coach. I would always aim for you to hold about 10% of this program within you. If you can remember about 10% of the holistically of this program, you are doing amazingly. That is more than you need to make the good, better, best decisions throughout your day and throughout your life to push you towards whatever nutritional or fitness goal you're aiming to do. So team, 10% is what we're trying to go for. It's okay if you don't remember much, but try to remember one thing about each of the topics. So team, we're going to read out all the questions together. And then we're going to do a little recap of each of the things for you could think about. So what we're going to do, team, is I'm going to read out a question, pause to give you time to write it out, and then I'm going to discuss it generally with you. That will give you a bit of context of the kind of information I'm looking for, and it will also help you answer the question if you're getting stuck. So how many steps should you be aiming to do a day? Now, you should have said something between 8,000 and 10,000 steps. Anything more than 10,000 steps, you start looking at potential soft tissue damage or overworked damage. And you need to find a way to help offset that load. If you're somewhere below 8,000, you might start looking into being too stationary, where you're not moving your body enough. So we need to look at programs that help bring you between the 8 and 10,000 mark. How much water are you aiming to drink a day? Well, we know that about 3 liters is the average for most people. We get about 3 liters drunk and we get about 1 liter from our foods. Remembering that hydration is massively important for the function of our body and all of those different chemical reactions. How does water work within your body? For this one, I want you to think about that bucket with a sponge on top. If our bucket's full of water and when we submerge our sponge and move it around, the sponge becomes very lubricated and hard to tear. Our body functions much like that bucket. We fill it up, we move our muscle within it, and that creates a healthy environment for things to function. What do proteins do within your body? So if you recall, proteins are building blocks. They get broken down into amino acids and they help build up tissue. That tissue can be muscle tissue, it can be your enzymes, it can be your brain tissue, but proteins are responsible for building you up, building your tissue up. How would I measure my proteins with my hand? What am I looking for? How do I measure it? You might recall that it's the palm of your hand, both thickness and size. Unique to you. So if I had The Rock Johnson, he has a massive hand, so he must eat more. And if you have Kevin Hart, he's got quite a small hand, so he has to eat less. What type of morph are you? So this is a bit more tricky. Remember, there's 3 types. There's ectomorph, thinking soccer player. There's a mesomorph, that's an AFL or hockey player. And then there's an endomorph, which is like a rugby player or an American football player. What are the 3 types of amino acids? Amino acids are broken down into essential, semi-essential, and non-essential. Anything non-essential we can make ourselves. Anything semi-essential we can generate in times of stress by eating our own muscle tissue and fats. And stuff that is essential we get from eating. And essential amino acids are amino acids that we source externally. We must ingest them. What are the 3 types of carbohydrates we find within food? If you recall, starchy, sugary, and fibrous. 1, sugar, very, very good for energy. Starchy, very good for energy that's long lasting. And fibers, very, very good for our gut biome and health. What type of carbs spikes our blood sugars the most? Simple sugars is the trick here. They're the ones that spike you quickly and bring you back down. Starches will spike you and keep you for a long period of time, and fibers won't spike you much, but last a long time in your belly. What type of those carbohydrates has the lowest amount of calories but the highest amount of nutritional benefits? Fibers. Fibers are the one that usually contribute the least to your calories, but give you the most nutritional benefit. They are both nutritionally rich and calorie poor. So what do carbs do within your body? So remember, carbs create energy. They're very, very good for active transport within your cells. They're very, very good at helping your muscles slide over each other in the form of ATP. We need carbs in our body. For your information, it's about 120 grams a day minimum for most people within their blood as a minimum of function. So we definitely don't want to cut carbs out completely unless there's some reason to do so. What are the 5 colors of vegetables that we track? You should say something along the lines of white, green, orange, purple, and red. What's the difference between a micronutrient and a macronutrient? Micro means small, macro means big. Our macronutrients are our proteins, carbs, and fats. Our micronutrients are our vitamins and our minerals. Things in the car like wiring, seat belts, all the little stuff that makes the car function, where the macronutrients are the big things like the body and the wheels. What's an example where you could use ready, willing, and able? This will be different for each of you, but the thing I'm looking for is whenever I'm trying to set up a goal, whenever I want to see if a goal is reasonable for me, what are the 4 types of fats? You have your saturated fats, monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, and trans fats. Remember that trans fats are the ones that we try to avoid, and the other ones will fall in the categories of either giving you inflammation or removing inflammation. Anti-inflammatory versus inflammatory. What are fats the best at compared to the other macronutrients? Fats are the best at creating energy. They are the best at making it, and they are the best at storing it. They are the best at it. They make the most energy bang for buck. How do we measure fats on our hand? We use our thumb from knuckle to tip. That is a measurement for fats. How do we use our hand to measure carbohydrates? Remember, it's a cupped hand. Cooked carbohydrates within a cupped hand. How do we measure vegetables with our hands? Fists. Use your fist from the wrist line all the way to the top, both in density and size. What is a growth mindset? A growth mindset is a tool we've learned throughout nutrition. It's to always try to find the positive spin or a way that we can take information and make it into a good, productive thought. So we might take something that potentially might be bad news for us or something that is a negative thought and try to find a way to keep turning it to stay strong and to move towards our goals. Examples could be something like, I might go out to dinner and there's not nutritional decisions that will help me long term. But that's okay because I can make the good, better, best decision and enjoy the social experience of hanging out with my friends. Growth mindset is to find the positives that are going to keep you on track. How does caffeine work? This one's a bit more tricky, team. Remember that caffeine falls into the receptors on your cells that are the same shape as adenosine. So they are the chemical that makes you tired. Caffeine is the same shape as and falls into the same receptors. If we overload on caffeine, we find that we make more receptors, meaning we need more caffeine next time. If we have too little caffeine and we're already a drinker of it, we will find that those receptors will reduce. Up-regulating receptors and down-regulating receptors. So how much caffeine should the average person have? Remember, it's about 400 milligrams. So that's about 4 coffees or 2 energy drinks, depending on the brand. Read your food labels, that's how you'll know. What is alcohol tax and how does it work? So remember, alcohol tax is a phrase that we have coined. It is the time of which your body is no longer functioning well in processing other energy sources because it has ethanol in it. It is the hours extra after that last drop of ethanol has been processed that you're still recovering to be able to use your normal energy systems as you were prior to the alcohol entering you. During that time, we are always more likely to hold fats. What is intrinsic motivation? Intrinsic motivation is motivation that comes from within. You do something because you love to do it or because it drives you. It's a part of who you are. What is extrinsic motivation? Extrinsic motivation is to be motivated by something outside of us, by a carrot or a stick, a reward or a punishment. For example, you must clean your kitchen because you have company coming over. That is not something you necessarily want to do. It's just something that you have to do because you want the reward of someone coming over. What is the hardest thing about this course? So for you, team, this is very unique. This is why I want to see some of your results. I want to know what you thought was the hardest thing for you. What was the easiest thing about this course? What was the thing that you found to be the easiest to complete or do? Again, absolutely unique to just you. If you could only remember one thing from this course, from this program, what would it be and why? Did you achieve the goal that you set when you started this program? How can you continue to make progress in your nutrition and health once this program is finished? Again, very unique to you. Think about some of the strategies we've talked about and some of the tools you already know. What are some of the keys that we are looking for when we're reading food labels? Remember that some of the keys are serving sizes, protein amounts, carb amounts, what kind of fats are inside, how many ingredients are in the item to see how complicated it is. The simpler, usually the better. Things like that is what I'm looking for. Would you recommend this to a friend? Do you think that this course gave you enough skills that you would be happy to suggest it to someone else? So team, those are all the questions that I need you to answer. We're going to do a very brief discussion now of where we're going to go from here and stuff that I would really like to see you do in the future. So in this industry, team, it's very important to be giving of your time and giving of your knowledge. The last thing I want to see from any of the students who finish this program is that you feel reserved to help someone else. You now have more nutritional understanding than most. If someone is asking for help from you, I do suggest you help them. Paying this forward is the key. When we look at building these long-term habits, a really good trick to try to stay on top of stuff and to make sure that you yourself are succeeding is to try to help another. When you're helping someone else and you can show them that the path you've taken works, it will help you retain the information and it will help you affirm that you are doing the right thing. So please don't be a guardian of information, a guardian of knowledge. Do help your fellow man and please, please, please pay this forward to someone else. Show them the way, help them. This is what I expect from anyone who finishes this course. Be someone who is willing to help another. So team, if you still haven't hit your goals, you're not quite at the marker that you wanted to hit, that's okay. Continue on the process. You now have all the information that your sheet needs to get you to the goal that you discussed with me over email. Continue that process until you're there. If you are someone who has already found their goal and has hit it, now it's time to move into a maintenance phase where you just continue the lifestyle you're living to be able to maintain that space. If you're someone who has now hit your goal and wants the next thing, all you need to do is send me an email and I will give you the food metrics you need. So we're gonna end it now, team. Next week, training wheels are off. You no longer need me. You are gonna have a week where you are following that checklist all by yourself, trying to get 90% consistency, trying to do your good, better, best. I'm gonna give you 2 weeks to answer those questions about this nutrition program. And at the end of week 12, so not this week, but the next week, I would expect for you to have sent those to me. Any questions and any follow-up is gonna happen in the next week block. So as you need me, next week is the 1 week that we discuss stuff. So this is where it gets more personal. If you need to talk to me directly, next week, week 12 is that week. There will not be a video coming out. It's all about you. It's time for you to become your own coach, to step away from me and see how well you can do this on your own. Ideally, you should be able to smash it. When in doubt, you can always just look over the videos again. There's no harm in that. Just repeat the videos until you feel comfortable enough to continue this journey. Team, will I say with a heavy heart, this is the end now of week 11. It's the end of the time I'll see you on the camera. It's been a pleasure to help you. I really, really would love to hear your stories. Remember to weigh yourself now. Remember to take a photo of yourself now, compare it to where you were. Do the measurement. So whatever measurement you took that was the thing you wanted to see either increase in size or decrease in size, this is the time to take it. Any feedback, do send to me via email. Continue your journey, team. Make the best decisions you can. And hopefully now you have a better understanding of how nutrition works and you won't ever again need coaching assistance from idiots like me.